In this video I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the recent 4K releases of The Lost City and Ambulance, but I'll also be taking another look at the 4Ks of Heat and Get Carter, following the myriad comments on my reviews on both these titles. Well, first to Ambulance. Now this one was getting such good reports that I thought I should support it, and so purchased a copy recently at HMV Newbury. This is another one that was shot on video, and it does prove that video really can work. The Blu-ray is excellent, but the 4K is even better. The colour and the contrast are beautiful, but the good news shouldn't stop there, because you should find that the Dolby Atmos sound is rather special too, although I have to report that it wasn't entirely compatible with my 5.1 system in here. The dialogue for much of it was drowned out by the sound effects and music. Knocking into stereo seemed to rectify the problem, and also on my lesser sound system in the living room it was fine on that. So just a little foible in here, but something that if you do find the central dialogue's too low, might be one of those where you've got to turn the central channel up. It's not something I like to do, but on this occasion it did seem to do the trick. If you haven't heard much about Ambulance yet, it is a high-speed chase film, and that's really all you need to know. There are a lot of high-speed drone shots, and they are fabulous. The stunt work too is fabulous, but, and on this occasion it's a big but, whenever there's any action on the screen, the camera seems to go from a Steadicam or a tripod onto a pneumatic drill. It's really poor filmmaking where, in order to heighten the action, the cameraman does this with the camera, and I find that when that comes on I simply have to look away. However, on a television, and I did test this, it's not so obvious. So it's not a big screen film, it's one for the telly, and I did find that on the telly you can actually look at it. The aspect ratio is the normal Panavision scope ratio of approximately 2.4 to 1, and there are some making of featurettes as extras on both the 4K and the Blu-ray disc. So what I think I can say about Ambulance is don't think about projecting it, but watch it on your telly and you may find that it's a lot of fun. Now the bank robbery in it is clearly influenced by Michael Mann's Heat, and I think the basic chase is influenced by Jan de Bont's Speed. However, I do think that both of those films are better. Now, having just mentioned Heat, we've had a lot of information come in through the comments section on my 4K review video for this, and the most significant has to be from James Miller, who was a projectionist back in 1995-1996 when Heat was on general release. And when he first assembled the print, he was looking at it from the auditorium, and he was so astounded by how dark it was, he thought his Xenon lamp was on the way out. I've been there too with certain Super 8 prints, and that really is how I really remember how some of these films do look. I couldn't remember an awful lot about Heat, but I could remember that one sequence with Robert De Niro hiding in the shadows and the police looking at him with the heat-seeking cameras. I always remembered how dark that was, and I had the impression from that I struggled with the darkness quite a lot through the entire film of Heat, and James has confirmed that my recollections of that was indeed correct. But that discussion in the comments for Heat has been excellent and informative. Results appear to have varied, but overall it seems most of us did not find Heat too dark, but it was a dark film originally, and some tellies and video projectors are better at handling dark imagery than others. We also had a good discussion in my recent 4K review of Get Carter. Now, it hadn't occurred to me that this one might not be available worldwide, but for those of you in America, it seems that Henri Blanche may have come to the rescue, because he managed to get a comment through with a link to Zavi USA. Well, managed to get it there eventually. I think YouTube removed it 3 times until he disguised the link, so I looked it up and put it in a reply, and I've pinned that as the top comment to the comments on Get Carter. So if you're in the Americas and you fancy a copy of this, Zavi USA are currently selling it at the time of recording. However, bear in mind the extras Blu-ray in here, the bonus disc, has Zone B stamped on it, so a multi-zone or all-zone player will be required to look at the extras. As I said in my 4K review, I do think this package as a whole, with all the extra little bits and pieces you get in there, is one of the best 4Ks we've had so far. May not be the best in terms of image quality, but it's probably better than the original release prints ever were. That's how impressed I am with this 4K of Get Carter. So that brings me on to the other new release, which is Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and for a while at least, Brad Pitt in The Lost City. It had a $68 million budget and took $190 million at the worldwide box office. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes of escapist fun in which a romantic adventure novelist is kidnapped and a book cover model sets out to rescue her. It was shot using Arri Alexa mini video cameras, and it does succeed in looking filmic, so things really are improving even if this isn't going to be the best 4K disc you've ever seen. HDR, or possibly Dolby Vision if you're so equipped in this case, does make it look extremely colourful with very good density, so overall it's got a very good picture on it. It's just a couple of occasions I thought, well, this looks a bit odd, but then things on film just look slightly odd at times too, so nothing much to worry about there. I think overall it's a good image, and it has got Dolby Atmos sound, which I know will keep a lot of people happy, and I thought it sounded very good in here on the 5.1 THX system. So The Lost City is not going to be the best film you've ever seen, but I tend to enjoy Sandra Bullock playing Sandra Bullock, and in this case she does that in spades. So I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was worth giving it a try. I'm glad I did, and I think I may find this one is extremely repeatable in years to come. Anyway, an update on where I am, because people have been asking me. I still haven't watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm getting there though, but I've just noticed the slipcover on this and it's rather nice. Don't know if you can see that, but I think John Armando Chelovec Movies would like that if he hasn't got it already. And nor have I watched Batman Returns, but the difference is I have seen Batman Returns before. I'm not particularly keen on fish, and I think that's why I didn't particularly like it when I saw it at the cinema. When was that? 1992, wasn't it? But the big one people are reminding me about, because I haven't done it, is my review of Star Wars, but I'm going to be doing a bit more of a Star Wars extravaganza on that one, because really with my history with the film and having 2 copies actually on Super 8, what's the point in just doing a 4K review? So I thought I'd include a few other things, might go into a bit of detail on the sequels, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because those really were the glory days for Star Wars. It was a lot of fun to see it at the cinema again in 1997, but in my opinion I would have preferred it if they'd have made the special edition the rare one to see and actually carried on releasing the original version, which I think is an historic film. But I'll get into that more when we do a full look at it coming soon. I don't know how soon that is, but we'll get there eventually. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and perhaps consider subscribing, so I'll be encouraged to carry on creating content like this again in the future. Until the next video, bye bye for now.